Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hi, my name is Ness and I like to talk about books. If you watched my previous two videos, you'll know that I've opened 4 boxes already this weekend. And this is my 5th that I'm going to be opening and I've not been impressed so far. I did open the epic fantasy subscription from Fairyloot and we're going to be talking about that in this video. The adult September and the adult romantasy and the Illumicrate, and I wasn't blown away by any of them. I was supposed to actually just film them all the way through yesterday, with this one being at the end, and I was so deflated after opening those 4 boxes that I just thought I need to take like a break. I don't know if it's me or if it's the books, and I spoke a little bit about this with people on Instagram. I had quite a few conversations with people who also said that they were also disappointed in the books themselves that I'd previously opened, so that made me feel a little bit less alone. But then somebody told me that this one was actually the worst of all of them, and I almost shot out of bed at like 10 o'clock at night to grab my camera to open this box in bed. I was in so much shock, like how could this one possibly be the worst? The epic fantasy book really upset me. So how could this possibly be worse? This is the first time I've ever got a book from the Broken Binding in a subscription. I do have the edition of The Will of Many, and I don't have any other books by them. I am a subscriber to the Epic Fantasy subscription at Fairyloot, and we're going to talk about that subscription in comparison to this one after I've opened this book. So if you don't want spoilers for those 2 books that have been out from Fairyloot, then, you know, leave halfway through this video and I'll tell you when. With this being a new subscription product, my understanding is Broken Binding have previously done subscriptions where they kind of like they release books in a series, whereas they're doing like one-off. It's kind of like more like the Illumicrate and Fairyloot model that they're using here. This is £24 plus postage and packaging. I was really lucky to get on this subscription because the website actually crashed while I was at work in a meeting where I couldn't have left the meeting to join it. So by the time it went live again was actually when I was free. I do think that this has now gone to waitlist. Given that it's a new product, I've learned my lesson from the romantasy subscription and the adult subscription to not expect massive things from the very start of new subscription products. So I'm willing to give this like 3 or 4 books before I start making proper judgments on their ability for like redesigns and picks. I'm excited to get into this. What I love about this is it's very well packaged. Fairyloot just tends to whack them in some bubble wrap and put them in the box, and I've had quite a few damaged books over time. Oh. It just keeps going. There is no way that this book is coming to me damaged. Then there's quite a lot of bubble wrap. Okay, so this is hand wrapped. This is really cute. This is the theme of the month. I don't know whether to expect like a card or anything on the inside. It just says killing monsters on it. I don't know whether this is just their way of like identifying what book is in here. I thought the book was going to be way thicker when I was holding that box. Feels like Christmas. Okay, so it looks like a sprayed edge, but I could be wrong. It's given the start of the Fairyloot adult subscription. I don't actually know what book this is at all, so I don't know if I'll be able to like rant and rave like I did with the Bone Raiders about how I preferred the original cover. I don't know what customization they're planning on doing to whatever this is. Oh, I was not expecting this. There's no like a card or anything, which is not very helpful because I don't know what they've done to this book. It looks like a redesigned cover. I'm gonna have to Google. This is a novel from the Witcher series. I think this can be read as a standalone. You don't have to have read The Witcher prior to this, but I am a little disappointed that they've put a book in here which is part of a series. I was googling what the original cover looked like so I could talk about it, and the second listing that came up on Google was this Etsy product where someone's like made this amazing edition of The Witcher. Look at that. That is also £1,400. My god. Oh hi, I'm just jumping in because I want to say a massive thank you to my members who are Kristy, Rebecca, Marisa, Melissa, Aryagon, Caty, and Cat. Thank you so much because they have actually brought this video to life. I would absolutely have not jumped on this subscription if it wasn't for their support. They are absolutely keeping this channel alive and going, and they're also watching this video earlier than everybody else. So thank you so much for watching. To my members, I really love and appreciate your support, and I hope you're enjoying this video. Please talk to me in the comments. I'm confused. So I've searched for The Witcher Crossroads of Ravens, and it says that this book was published in 2004. My bad, I think that might be when it was published in Poland. UK publishing date is the 30th of September 2025. That makes sense. So this is a unique cover, and I really like the grim dark style of this. I like this more than the original cover. It's just not a book that I would have bought. I really enjoy the Witcher 3 game, but I'm not a fan of the books or interested in reading the books. But for a fantasy subscription, I do actually think this is a good pick. This is better than the Fairyloot, in my opinion. For a first book in a subscription, I'm not mad at it. Let's see what else it's got going on. Oh, this is not what I was expecting. I'm not sure how I feel about this. The book is called Crossroads of Ravens, so I was expecting if anything was going to be put on the hardcover, it was going to be ravens, but this is a snake. And it's kind of like, it looks embossed, but it's not. I feel like this should have been the front. This is the back. I don't think it should have been like this on the spine because it's quite hard to see. But I do like it. It also has a ribbon bookmark, which is something that I've liked about the Fairyloot Epic Fantasy subscription. Oh, we have a sticker. I don't know what that's for, but that's cute. The end papers are glorious. They are so... That's so good. I nearly swore. They are so good for this series. The quality and the detail is so good. I was expecting way worse than this, to be honest. I am pleasantly surprised. What is this thing? People love worms in fantasy. I really like this. It's just given a different vibe. Right, I don't imagine that this book is signed. It's not signed. That's a-okay. Oh, I never thought that I would actually have like a Witcher book on my shelves, but I think this might be an exception. I might have to keep this purely because of its special edition. I'm really surprised with this. And I'm way happier than I was with the Epic Fantasy subscription. So my biggest criticism about this is purely that they've picked something that's in an existing series, and I would have liked something totally new. But I have so much faith in the subscription product going forward, and I'm really looking forward to getting the next book pick. Right, I'm gonna compare it now to Fairyloot's Epic Fantasy product, which is probably the most on par with this. So the first book in the Fairyloot product was The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I'm going to show the books now, so you might want to leave if you don't want spoilers. And I really liked this. This was an absolute 10 out of 10 product for me. And I remember opening this, and at the time I didn't know that I was going to end up with this subscription because I didn't know that it existed at the time. I commented saying that the end papers looked a lot like the Broken Binding, and a lot of people told me that this is an artist that does work for the Broken Binding, so I was already expecting that the end papers in this were going to be really good. I don't know how to describe that. This book still felt like Fairyloot to me. It didn't feel like something that the Broken Binding would do, and I really did prefer the Broken Binding edition of this book in the end when I saw it. There's something just a little bit more like grown up about the Broken Binding's designs. Then we get to this absolute monstrosity of the Epic Fairyloot book for August, which I really hated. I thought they absolutely did a number on the original cover. You can see my initial reaction to it 2 videos ago. But what I would say is these are really clear and crisp, and the Broken Binding one is just not like that. It's a bit washed out. It's got quite a lot of lines in. It's just not as clear. This could be totally down to the publisher though, so I'm not going to make a judgment right now on the quality. Fairyloot also has this problem when they use certain publishers for books. In terms of the actual quality, they feel very similar. I couldn't tell you any difference in these whatsoever, and the paper quality is also very good. So what are the main differences between these two subscription products? The Epic Fantasy subscription from Fairyloot comes every quarter, and they've guaranteed that every book will either be hand signed or hand stamped, which is absolutely huge to me, and it's only £1 more than the Broken Bindings book. I was absolutely over the moon to get a signed Joe Abercrombie book in this subscription, but this one was just a letdown. It went from like a 10 out of 10 to a 1 out of 10 real quick. But I am going to give it another go and see what we get in the third book. But my main gripe with this subscription product is that you are not allowed to skip any of the boxes. And that annoys me to no end because there is no other quarterly subscription product that I know of that you can't skip. I get Evernight, and that has plenty of generous skips. This product, £1 less, and it comes at the moment bi-monthly, but they are hoping next year to increase that to every month. I'm happy with that. And they do have a really generous skip policy, so at the moment you can skip half of the books, but I've just seen on their website that when they increase this to every month of the year, they will be increasing the amount of skips to 9, which is extremely generous. The other main difference is that this is epic fantasy. All of their books will be the epic fantasy genre. This is sold as a sci-fi and fantasy, so I actually don't get Starbright, which is Illumicrate's sci-fi subscription, but I've been eyeing it up every time and I've really enjoyed the books they've been putting out, and it's tickled me for some sci-fi. So if we get some kind of like actual space sci-fi in this, I will not be mad. But then it comes down to your personal preference of, do you just want fantasy books or do you want some mixed in with sci-fi? Also the frequency that you're getting them, your ability to skip, and whether you care about signed or hand stamped books is also going to make a huge difference. I was really surprised that for this one they seem like they've gone for big series and big author name over like being able to get a book signed for their first one. That's a bit strange to me. My understanding is that this is more of a prequel of The Witcher and it can just be read as a standalone. Either way, it's going to my husband. I will not be reading this book. I'm really excited to see what other things we get in the subscription. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. I'm really excited to have something that just feels completely different to Illumicrate and Fairyloot. I'm going to give it 3 or 4 books to see what I think about it, which hopefully ties me up to knowing what is going to be the 4th book in this subscription product, and then I'll be able to make a determination about whether I want to continue with this or not. If it had actual skips, even just 1 a year, that would sway me more into keeping that. The skips are so generous for this that I'm hoping to be able to keep this for as long as possible and try it to the best of its ability. I'm so pleased that this has not been the worst of the month. This has been better than the epic fantasy, and it's probably up there with the adults book in my opinion. Like a 6 out of 10. It was good, it's good. And I'm excited to see what the next book is going to be. I've just remembered that this book actually came late, so they have already announced their November book. I'm just having a look at it. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it is going to be signed, which is brilliant. The title is perfect for tech thrillers, virtual realities, cyberpunk, identity and memory exploration. So this is way more sci-fi. Okay, I'm going to look on a spoiler page to see if I can figure out what it is. Oh, interesting. It is a big author. It's a very big author. It's an author I've got on my shelves, so I'm very excited. I'm getting that. I'm really looking forward to getting that book. I think this is a great start. I'm excited. Let me know what you think in the comments of this subscription. Did you get it? Did you want it? I know I got a lot of Instagram messages saying that people couldn't get on it and I feel so bad. Hopefully they're going to increase the amount of subscription spots that's available to them. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.